Hey there. So I was just saying, like, we were doing this at an egg sorting facility in Missouri because we wanted to see, does these large conditioners have the same effect on eggs or on fruit or anything that just like the light tower does that we've done on that one demonstration in that kitchen.
So what you need to explain is you're lifting the weight or the effect of the electromagnetic field off of it. You're not making it good in the sense that you're doing something to the eggs.
Right.
You're just lifting this weight, so to speak, this stress.
There's two aspects of it. One, when God creates something, it's perfect and it's good and it's full of life. We have a tendency to bring that life down, that resonance down, I think. So that's how I think of it. So all this non-native EMF, the modern technology, weighs it down and does. It suppresses it. It takes the vitality and the resonance out. So what we're doing with these Life Tech plates, we are lifting that suppression,
Right.
so that the person, the animal, the plant can start to express itself again. But since light is so important to everything that happens within life at the cellular level, every cell needs light and needs light and the energy from the light to function, we're also amplifying the quality and the quantity of the light in and around the person, which also improves the environment. So we're removing the suppressiveness, and what we'll show you later with the BioWell devices how we know that we are amplifying it. But what we'll do is we can take, and you've seen me do this on other demonstrations, this is a biogeometry pendulum. It looks for the BG3 color that they talk about. That's the three colors that make up what they say is the frequencies of life. And if the frequencies of life are here in a strong, balanced field, this thing is going to spin clockwise. It's going to pick that up. So when I'll look. Terry, you can pan. I mean, we are in beautiful, what is the Okanagan, right? I mean, this is in beautiful middle of the state, upper north part of Washington State, very close to Canada. I think I can see Canada.
20 miles.
Yeah, 20 miles. So it's beautiful, and you'd say, well, there's no EMF out here. Well, unfortunately, EMF isn't just what comes through the air. It's also, from your cell towers. Now, my phone gets a cell reception, so we have EMF from the cell towers, but we also have a transformer, and that electricity has an electrical and a magnetic field that is disrupting cellular function and stress, and we have a smart meter.
And we have a Faraday cage on it.
And you have a Faraday cage on the smart meter, and we can even test and measure that later to see. But the electricity going into the wires, that dirty electricity is unfortunately affecting everything in the house and anything else that's running off that panel. So we want to lift that stress, and that's what our energy plates do. They're lifting the stress and then improving the quality of the light, which is important because right now all the artificial electricity is creating pollution. It's like smog.
AC.
All the AC. Yep. So we can. And Nikola Tesla actually said, I may be inventing alternating current, but I'm going to release a scourge on humanity if you use it, because he knew that it wasn't simpatico with our
He was
with our
trying
system.
to do it the right way, I thought.
Yeah.
Use the earth.
Well, that's how he originally did it. Use the earth, use free energy.
Right.
But that got burned down.
It did.
And so
Big time.
then they didn't want to do that anymore. So what we're going to show is this grass might have a little spin. Now it's windy, so it's moving a little bit just from the wind. But this pendulum is designed to pick up the energy on the grass.
On the grass.
The light frequency, that VG3, that life frequency, that because all living things produce energy, produce what they call biophotonic emission.
It's
It's
I
aura.
mean, you're really talking about photons. You're not talking about anything we see.
Right. Yeah. Well, the biophoton can be visualized. Fritz Albert Popp.
He did. He made a little box. And
You could see it.
Yeah.
You know, he said it was like the amount of intensity that a single candle has from 2 miles away. Well,
Pretty
that's
slight.
pretty slight. My eyes aren't going to pick that up.
No.
But we have devices that can. So once we get the condition, so this is kind of before. Now we're going to set up the biowell, and we'll let that run for a little while. That biowell has a device called the Sputnik, and we'll go through that as we get that all set up.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're just a couple ways we're trying to demonstrate what we can't see, but there's devices that can pick it up. Okay, so this is called the biowell. It's a GDV camera, gas visual discharge. It's like the old Carillion photography that measures the aura or the photonic emission of your body. But this company actually developed a device they call the Sputnik, and it actually measures the quality and the quantity and the balance of the photons on the property in the area. So because our energy plates are directly affecting the quality of the light on the environment, this is a really good device to measure, to show what our plates are doing.
But your plate's already here.
They're not set up. They're not. They're turned off.
How can you cancel them, or you know?
They are.
How do you shield their?
Right. So our plates work anytime, anywhere, unless they are around a magnetic field. So I have a magnet running right, or set up right next to the plates that shuts them off.
But it doesn't destroy the condition.
No, because the plates themselves are what have been re-engineered,
Right.
and tuned, so the suite of frequencies and the molecular structure has been altered. So frequencies are baked into the metal. The molecular structure has been altered, which gives it the strength it needs. That won't wear off. It's not a coating. These are actually baked in. So putting a magnetic field next to it just disrupts the angle that the photons hit the plates, which negates their ability to pick up the frequency that we've baked in. But you won't damage the plates. So now you can see this is measuring. So we're measuring.
Let me go get my.
Oh,
eyes.
okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, so we have it set up. It's running. We're getting a baseline because the device is not turned on yet. The things it can measure when it says area. Area is how many photons are in the area. So it's kind of a different. It's not a label that's intuitive to me, but it's like saying the quantity of photons that are here. The intensity is how strong they are. So, and then intensity and energy both speak to like the quality of the photons, how balanced they are. Area deviation is just a statistical model they do against the area, and then the entropy, it talks about how the variability, how much change there is in the photon. I'm not an expert with all this science that goes into the software, but I like the charts that it ends up producing for me because I can show before and after and how things change.
Two things.
Yeah.
You know, we're going through the solar system, going through a photon belt.
Okay.
For about, I don't know how long, 1,000 years or something, it travels through. It comes around every once in a while, we move through it. So we're getting extra photons.
Interesting.
Yeah. And in Emoto's work, it turns out that in the crystals are actually snowflake-like crystal. Big crystal freezes water,
Yeah.
and brings it into a cold room and lets it start thawing out, and has a special camera that can watch that happen. So he's got 60 samples.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, turns out that there's photons in the water, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Right. Right. So,
Interesting.
right. So you have that background. You have, because everything, light, water is light, and so you have that in everything, and that's part of I think, what is registering there. It's not just something that's, let's say, in the air. It's in the trees.
This catches up all all the natural photons. Yeah. And it's the artificial ones that suppress that, disrupt it, make it chaotic, and then they don't have the same. And you'll see that with Emoto's work, or Austin Veda, when she does her work.
She's phenomenal. Did you see the reading that she got from the telepathic savants?
No.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Non-speaking autistic savants. So you haven't seen the telepathy tape?
Not that one, no.
Oh, they're not hers. The telepathy tapes are a doctor who lives in Portland that is, I don't know where she's at in her career. She's way along, and she started researching non-speaking autistic. And she was getting all this information from teachers and some parents. These kids are talking to me in my head.
Wow.
I know. And these are the guys that go off when you touch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they're having a hard time being in a body. But the kicker is when they were asked. So the telepathy tapes are on YouTube, and they're about an hour long, and they set up these different situations, random number generator, all kinds of things. But what they found out when they asked, the question came up, well, how do you guys know some of this stuff? Oh, at night we just go to the hill. Well, where's the hill? And all of a sudden, kids all over the world can go to the hill where they share information telepathically.
Where's the hill? What do they mean by that?
It's I don't think it's a physical place.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And so what? What's her name? Veda. She interviewed some, and what they had to say was incredible. It wasn't because these guys in a lot of the tests that they do are just banging out on a tablet. They're talking.
Yeah.
They're back here and they're opening a book and pointing to a word. And they're just like banging it out before they even ask the question, kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of interesting experiments. But the point is because these are like handicapped. I don't think so.
No.
We're handicapped. This is maybe somewhere we're going.
Sure.
And, and why are they? Yeah. So anyway, it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, it's kind of an aside here, but yeah.
Well, it all relates though, because
she's doing a lot of water stuff.
Yeah, it's all frequency and energy and resonance, and we've lost so much of that. In my world, I'm biased. I think it's electricity has caused us to lose a lot of that. But then it's all the modern inventions that have come along with that. The chemicals, the processed foods, our digestion is poor. Livers are toxic, which all leads to, the gut-brain connection, gut-skin connection. All those, we've just lost the ability to really connect and resonate with nature and with each other. You could say it's planned, but it's multi-generational.
That's not going to help.
No. What helps is, okay, so this is reality. How do we solve for it? How do we with practical tools work our way around it and solve it so we can continue to live.
In one sense, that's what the organic movement did. It was poisoning the soil, and so and a lot of that came from different countries, understanding they were way ahead, just like a lot of indigenous people, let alone other giant cultures, had a lot of information on how to do it. I mean, look at some of the rock structures, right?
Yeah.
How did they move those 200 tons? How did they move that? We can't even move that today, let alone make it nice and smooth. Yeah. So it's like building on that information and trying to bury it, destroy it, get rid of it. You don't need to know this stuff. You just need to know what I'm selling you.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it's gotten to.
I actually want to know that.
Yeah, it's just been going along, little by little, and where we're at now.
Yeah, right.
And we're going critical.
Yeah.
People are talking mass extinction.
Yeah, I know.
That's like, why is that in the conversation? Because that's where we're at, and it's human caused.
Yeah.
Species are dying like crazy. The Earth is trying to right its imbalance, but it's going through it with us.
Yeah, there is a connection with the sun's electromagnetics and the Earth's, and they're always going to be in sync and kind of play off each other and balance at this like cosmic level. And the more we disrupt the Earth's magnetic field and stratosphere and magnetosphere, the more out of balance that is with the sun, and the more the sun has to correct that.
Well, there's a lot of ways you can go with it.
I feel like
I would say the sun's a player.
Yeah. Well, but it's trying to balance, because I don't think you can escape the fact that the satellites that are going up, all these towers, the Doppler radar, the NEXRAD. I mean, heck, in the 70s, they did studies with just the high tension power lines that they were affecting the upper atmosphere. I mean, the high tension power line has nothing on intensity compared to like the NEXRAD systems or HARP or others. So what are we doing? Hey,
foolish things.
Yeah, as Martin Paul said.
And now it's got to where it's all about money.
Yeah. Oh, so much money.
I watched a seminar of the guys early on selling the technology to run, I'll call them chemtrails, but that technology. And they just basically said, well, there's going to be winners and losers, They're just telling the audience, the people that are, looking at this, buying into it.
Wait, what did you say? What do you mean?
Yeah, no, they do it out front, and so that's kind of where it's gotten. It's not like it's in our face now. We don't have to shield it anymore and talk in code. We can just say this is what's happening,
right?
And nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't, but you can.
Right.
Michael Talbot wrote a book probably 20 years ago called what's it called? The Holographic Universe, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you were around when Sputnik that time, when we got into the picture, they came out with these postcards and bookmarks and things like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so a true hologram is something that you can cut in and throw it in pieces.
Right.
And then you take the smallest piece you can get and maybe cut it one more time and then look at it with a high power magnifier. And if it's a true hologram, it'll still be the whole picture.
Right, it's the whole thing.
And the whole thing's there, the holes in all the parts. Okay?
Yeah.
So, that means the holes in all the parts. So, it doesn't matter where we're out there picking up bottle caps and cigarette butts, we're changing the picture. Maybe not registering like if we do something giganto, right? Go out and plant 1,000 trees. But we're changing the picture. And so in that sense, we all have power.
Yeah.
People that say, they've taken my power away, or my voice.
No, you gave it away.
You gave it away, exactly.
Yeah.
Words are like tuning of an instrument.
Yeah, right.
then I learned that a ton of soil on an acre is the thickness of a sheet of paper. We need to invoke something different.
Okay.
Rain tree.
Rain tree.
And that's part of my name and Raina's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's been that way. It's slow. But we finally got a well that has moved the water 25 pounds into our shed. It's a shallow well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Around here, I don't know if you noticed, but we're bedrock.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much on the topsoil.
This well up here, this 400, you can't see it from right here. It's around the corner. But it's up off the road about, I don't know, 60 feet in that rock that you drove over just if you drop down to where you park. So we drilled into that rock. Not the soil on top of it, into the rock, 450 feet.
Oh, man.
But we doused it. We walked a semicircle around the property away from, I don't know, 100 feet away from everything, and crossed what felt like some poles that were fairly close together. So we just kept moving, and they kept getting closer and closer. And finally they all came together, and so we went a little further and drilled, and so we hit all three of them, and they're just fissures. They're not like tight. Yeah, they're just little cracks, and ended up with, at the time, 15.5 gallons a minute with a 2-foot static.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the static means.
The static means basically that the source of the water, you know how water level works?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll find, the water will come out when you reach the level of the input, let's say.
Okay.
Or where it's coming from.
Right.
So it pressures up to that, seeks its own level. So what's happening when it artesians is it's just pushing up the water from trying to level it out wherever it's coming from. Who knows around here where it's coming from?
Yeah.
But we don't have aquifers.
No. That's incredible. We just had a friend who doused off a map for some friends who needed a shallow well because most of the wells around them were around 800 or more. It was really deep, and the water companies were like, it's going to be really hard to find water on your property. So she doused it and said, hey, I think it's going to be right here, 75 feet down, and maybe 10 gallons a minute, which they were going to be happy with.
Oh, I think you told me this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like you said, you went a little further and got all three. I wonder.
Well, we wanted to make sure, and then
I wonder if they got like
further.
2 or like I don't know, however that works. They didn't tap into the whole thing.
Well,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and it ended up being within 10 feet of our line that comes from across the county road where the cattle guard is.
Yeah.
Down in the creek there's a spring, and there's a line that comes all the way up into our cistern.
Yeah.
That we just repaired. It's about 18,000 gallons. It's a vault, poured in place.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it was poured back in the early 40s, and the farmer technology for pouring cement back there left a lot to be desired.
It seemed a lot.
So yeah,
yeah.
My son and his partner spent 8 days opening up the anything over a hairline, and they had things that were this deep into this kind of almost crumbling concrete. Because they did everything. You look, if I took you down the basement, you'd see cement bags where they just threw a hard bag of cement in.
Yeah.
And rocks and chicken wire and broken equipment, metal. It's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Whatever it took.
Yeah, so finally, after all these years, because we've been losing a lot of water, and we thought it was the cistern, and it ended up, it's not the cistern. But poly pipe, they ran all the way across. When it came to coupling the next 100 foot, whatever, it probably came along. They used the next size poly line and just put hose pipes on it. that weren't stainless steel.
Oh, no.
So over the years, tractors have fallen into these quagmires. And,
Yeah.
you know, about the middle of summer, oh, what do you think's out there? You know, it's like a little oasis. Yeah, it's been a movie, but we're closing in on it.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to go. Let's go start looking for where you'd like to put this, and we can douse and I can check it and see if we're going to work while this is still running. By the time we've done that, we'll be at a good baseline, and then we can.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
And so the let's say the 5 or 7 inch, they go in a box.
Yeah.
Okay. And the box supposedly, if it's not in a box, it focuses the beam.
On those light towers, on those plates, yes.
But the box has something that scatters.
It's actually there's no secrets. It's all
It's
the KRT coils, the energy pumps.
Anyway, so why does if this was a 2,000 acre, well, like what we're going to do here, it's scattering. We're not putting anything to scatter it. It just is scattered, creating a field.
Yeah.
That's conditioning the EMF. So what is the difference between the single plates, the home ones, let's say,
Yeah.
and the agricultural ones, let's say? They could just be out on.
So the home one that goes in the scalar stand is one single stack of plates.
Right.
The unit you have, the farm guard and the ranch guard, the EMF conditioners, are 4 stacks of plates. Right. And they're all at right angles to each other. So not only do we have vortex technology in each of the plates, we also then, when you put them at right angles of each other, they create a unified vortex that broadcasts an array of the beneficial field.
So there's nothing to the box they're entering.
No. No, the box is actually it's like a melamine kind of styrofoam board that is protective, and it can get dented. I mean, that's where it takes the cushion, it takes the impact versus the plates.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. Here's where why it came out, because it used to be just the single plates with we used to call the light towers, or now these light tech. These plates, it used to be just setting those up on your counter by themselves, angled north, would treat 100 acres. So they used to work like the EMF conditioners do today, but in 2009, all the radio signals converted from analog to digital. The ability to harmonize the digital signals required a different setup than the analog. So, throughout our R&D trial and after our team, the inventor developed this and said, well, what if we do 4 in a row, and that harmonized the digital signals, and so that's why we have that today. We're actually prototyping a potential version that will go back to being a single stack, because we now have these mirror finish plates that we have full access to and control over. So these mirror finish plates allow us to do more things with. The reflective index is higher, so we get more photonic activity off those plates, which allows us then to kind of test things that we haven't been able to do with the more non-mirror finished. This light is fascinating, and what I love is you don't always have to know why things happen, but if you watch nature, it'll speak, and it'll give you the answers, and it'll let you know. So we do a lot of that observation.
Well, did I tell you the story about the cold fusion experiment?
No, but let's do that while we walk around and look for a spot.
Okay.
We'll leave this running.
Okay. That's the well I was telling you about?
Yeah.
So this rock right here,
Yep.
just you can see it surfacing over there.
Right.
Yeah,
carries
it's
over.
what we drilled it.
But all this is granite, which is a high paramagnetic. It's got a lot of silica.
Basalt. There's an outfit, Cascade Mineral, in Oregon.
Yeah.
That I use their fine granite or basalt.
Okay.
So, and they don't advertise, but I emailed the guy the company, and I said, "Do you know anything about paramagnetism? You know, I've tested this, and it's pretty paramagnetic." But I didn't tell him what the reading was. He wrote me back and told me what the reading was.
Oh.
I went, right on, man. You know,
There you go.
He was just kind of stealthing it in there.
Yeah. I love that. That's
Yeah.
kind of how you want to be, though.
Yeah.
You want to be.
We'll go down here.
We don't need to. Yeah, I like being under the radar. We don't need to pick fights anymore. We just get to do our work and bring life.
Right.
That's what we're about. Where can we bring life? I was thinking about it on the way out here. It's like, sorry, old Mac, we had to drive through you. You don't have life yet, but we'll get there. We're gonna go up to Tenasket.
Well, it depends. I mean, I got Walmart and North 40, Home Depot.
North 40 has everything. We have a box trailer, and one of the fenders, somebody ran into the fender, so it's all bent. There, I was like, oh, here's my replacement fender at the North 40.
Right.
Hey, Noah, does Ruth know where we're going?
Go tell her.
Actually, let me grab my compass. All right, so make sure you can.
Okay, zoom in on
You don't
it.
have to see the numbers so much as just to hear it.
Yeah.
So when I come and we do a EMF assessment, I have a sheet of paper that I kind of walk through all the hazards you can see. These high voltage power lines would be one of them. And what we can measure with this tri-field meter is the electrical, it splits it, the electrical and the magnetic field. As also, there's another one that will do the radio frequency, which is the cell towers. But for electrical, you want to be at 4 volts per meter or less. And on the magnetic, you want to be at 0.2 or less. And so coming off of those, you can see just down here. So anything, the bees, butterflies, birds, animals, people that are in this close, you know, we're like, you know, 50 feet or so from, are just getting, you know, that's super hot. It's right here, 130. If I lift it up higher, you're over 300 volts per meter. So then if you go to the magnetic field, it might be lower.
It is.
It's a lot lower.
Yeah.
But if we walk close, so because magnetic field does taper off.
As you get farther away from
Yeah.
It's kind of bouncing around.
I think it, even if I move it like this,
You know,
because
change
you're
it.
affecting the earth. Yeah, and I think there's something with earth magnetic field that you can change it, but if you sit, so I don't know, it's not terrible magnetic field.
Well, this is the end of the line too.
Right, which is always,
This is rural America
Double.
line. Yeah, everything comes off of this and goes somewhere.
so you can see it kind of starts to add up a little bit as you get closer, but still the magnetic field isn't really your concern. But standing here, the electrical is off the chart. So you wouldn't want to build a house right here or put your bedroom right here. But there are places in America where homes are very close to the power lines and their bedroom is right on the edge next to the power line. And you wonder why you have headaches. You wonder why you don't sleep very well, why you have sleep apnea.
So I got one.
So
So the power company came up here to check the one of the solar installations we did,
yeah.
and I knew Eric. He's the son of a friend of mine. So I started talking to Eric about power and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Thanks, buddy.
he tried to just poo-poo it, you know. And I got serious about it. He said, "Well, you know, I own an apartment house, and there's a whole wall of meters, and the guy on the other side of the wall got this answer.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah, you think?
there you go, Eric.
It's called frequency.
Yeah.
You're
That's where somebody really gets baked in the apartment complex.
No kidding. Yeah, you have a bank of 20 smart meters.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So this one measures high frequency, like 800 megahertz to 2700 megahertz at 2.7 gigahertz. So it picks up like your cordless phone, mobile phones, radar, Doppler. If you're within 20 to 30 miles of an airport,
We're out of Doppler.
yeah, there's not much going on out here with this one.
People come out here with the carriers and they don't get any bars.
Where'd that other
This
meter
one?
go? Yeah. So let's see this one. So this is better for measuring. See, you're pretty low on the whole radio frequency band. That's kind of nice. Unfortunately, I've had too many like dairy farmers are some of the they're the canary in the coal mine. Every day they measure their bulk tank and their calves. You know, they've got to have good conception rate to keep, especially the smaller dairies, right, where their calves become the producers. Well, I've had too many farms where their EMF looks zero or very low, but they can't get their cows to get pregnant, and their milk production's down, and the taste of the milk is variable. It's not consistent. And it all started, I mean, what I noticed was an uptick right around 2019, 2020 when Starlink started testing right over the top of you here and everywhere else.
I watched a train up. I had a friend that said, come on here at 8:30, you know, and look.
Yeah.
All of a sudden this train.
That's terrible.
I know. It was like, are you kidding me?
And now they have about 6,000.
Yeah.
And their competitors have another several thousand. So close to 10,000. And they're all bragging that this next version is stronger than the one before.
Did we talk about the fact that these satellites are, and most of that technology up there is either stainless steel or aluminum, right?
Okay.
So when they disintegrate, right?
Yeah.
So and aluminum is very conductive.
Yeah.
So we're creating a new, like Van Allen belt or something, you know, something that who knows where it's
Who
gonna
knows?
go. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all these particles and the nano aluminum.
Yeah. Graphene oxide. All that. Come on, people. There isn't another way we can communicate with each other. We have to do this route. So
Any of these buildings, I mean,
Okay.
I take it this thing needs to be out of the sun and out of weather.
the plate, the plates themselves, we don't want to be over 100 degrees, and the plates we don't want to freeze because they could warp.
Okay.
So if you need them in an area that's not climate controlled, but it's inside a building, like an outbuilding for the summer, just in the winter you'd bring them inside. So that's from a temperature perspective, and then we want to avoid any magnetic fields. So the compass is what I use to measure the magnetic field.
So I called a surveyor.
Okay.
So there is a correction here that's been here. It's changed a little bit over the years, but it's correction's 23 degrees west now. And the magnetic mountain I was telling you about, the Iron Mountain, it's up in Chesaw, and it doesn't affect this far. It's
Okay.
not, so the true north is the 23 degrees
Right.
correction.
Okay. So what we operate off of, we want to align the device with the Earth's magnetic field.
Okay.
So it'll be where
Wherever the
this compass is going is where you want to go straight from.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. Well, we are. I mean, you're on a very, very active mountain here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of it. Rivers divide.
Yeah.
Lakes. You go over there. I work with welder over here. Go over there and drill. There is no bedrock.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's decomposed. It's kind of more of a decomposed granite.
Wow.
It's completely different.
Well, okay, so let's go in one that's like a little less busy and
A little less distant. This one probably, I mean, this has a room that kind of fits the bill, except we have a compressor because we have a walk-in cooler here, so we have a compressor going on. But this little outfit is weather tight,
Yep.
and but it has the solar inverter right here.
Yeah.
That's probably not a good thing. I don't know.
What's on the back? What's on the other side of that wall, or the back wall?
A pass through between
Okay.
the wood shop and this.
So there's nothing on the back side of that.
Well,
so
you go look.
it could. So when you're picking a spot, you want to avoid being around things that are like heavy, like high metal that would be magnetic, or a refrigerator with a motor. You don't want to be right next to the motor.
The walk-in cooler motor is up.
And there was an inverter.
Yeah.
So we want to avoid being right by that inverter, but that wall back there is likely enough distance away. But the thing is, you want to make sure, you want to know what's on the other side of that wall. So we're going to go check that out.
And there's actually, then we get farther away from the compressor.
Yeah.
This is the walk-in cooler.
Okay.
And then this is, we can open this up. There's a,
That might be a little pretty well sealed.
yeah, we can open it up to the cooler, but this stays pretty, this is pretty, all of it's insulated.
Yeah. That might influence with all the foil. Would actually would suppress the plates, and it may not allow it out.
Okay, so we don't want that for sure.
I mean, that device would be great, but the cooler would be fine. But we want to get it out. So
Come here, say hi to these people.
So then we're gonna go. Oh, what? Oh, is this Penny? Hi, Penny. I know you've been checking us out all day.
Oh, have you seen her?
Yeah.
She's in like.
I hadn't seen her.
She's so shy.
I know.
Yeah, she is.
You're shy. Oh, nice.
She been on this land for a while.
She's 8.
Yeah.
Her birthday was just 2 days ago. We've had like 4 border collies. So the first one for
Yeah. Did he? Oh yeah. Did he like his birthday?
Okay, so now this is the other side of that wall, and I'm just saying, hey, I wouldn't put it right next to these tools, but that wall, must be just on the other side, right over here.
Right there.
There's the compressor, so that's, we want to know, be away from that. But, if we had to, we could go on the other side of the wall here.
So what kind of distance are we looking at?
Well, that's why we have the compass. So what we do is we get the compass here, figure out where it's pointing, and then as we go close to see how you move it, it's gonna pull.
So that
are you able to see that, guys? So that is not a good. We don't want to be. So when it comes back out that, so that's how you know how far away from that motor to be. Because when you come in, it starts to pull, but now we're about here where the needle isn't moving, and so now okay, I can be 1.5 feet away from that. Anything closer to that particular motor, and you'd be too close for the plates. So we can go back inside
and see
and measure that side of the wall and see what we find.
So around it, it's not disturbed by AC or anything.
Right.
That would be ideal.
Ideally, we want to be in a very neutral field. So, I mean, that's not going to affect this compass. Well, it does a little bit.
The motor?
Yeah. but it may. Well, in here we're pretty protected from the electrical field, but the milligauss reading is still pretty low, even with that on. So, it'd be worth checking the other side of that wall and seeing if it's a good spot.
This wall?
Yeah. So now we're inside, and we're just gonna see what the magnetic field looks like here. If we can remember, it was pointing straight off that. So remember that, like,
Yeah,
it's pretty
right
close.
on the back side of where you were a minute ago.
See, there, I bet you that weed whacker is there. And as we move it across, it's pretty quiet down in this area. So we would clear out these things, maybe do a box, a wood box or a wood shelf or something that it could stay on. But see, you can see like this is gonna, so it's pretty clear, but let's go check a few other spots. And this one looks like it may be an option.
He said, put all your electrical in one wall, in one place.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Huh.
Not put yourself in a field, going through all the walls, all the rooms, and creating a field.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, that is,
Yeah, we kind of wrap ourselves in.
that's one, that one's,
That one.
it's possible. This one we're going to, though, is tighter than this. This one's straight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing living out here, you can't have too many filters.
Yeah. What did you use those?
Those are granaries.
Oh, okay.
And two of them with the white doors are storage. Hospital storage.
Oh, wow. How long is the grain stored for?
Indefinitely. As long as it's not subjected to, which here it's not a problem with moisture.
It's very dry.
Yeah. And this is something I tried to teach some of the bakeries that we used to sell to for years. And Sam, I mentioned Sam here gets all the grain.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, you're going to notice that this responds different. And sure enough, we're going to okay. And sure enough, they had to relearn how to use the flour. Oh, this round this way. Actually, it could be any one of them. There's room. But this one, right here where the white door is, I'll slide it open.
Okay.
I knocked the side out of it, and we just keep our garden safe.
These are all granaries that he filled with grain when he was doing
Grain.
He was doing grain. Dry land grain.
Yeah. This was my model.
Yeah.
This one here. Yeah, but mice were a big problem.
Yeah.
This was us. Yeah. But the exoskeleton was, they just weren't tight. They didn't have tight doors or anything. Very cool.
Yeah.
So this is, actually, this is what the granaries, as far as a place to put it. This is away from electricity. Well, let's see, is that right? Yeah.
So what I like to do is I come out kind of away from the building itself just to see where the needle would naturally go to.
Oh, without influence from the building?
Yeah. Wow, look at all this.
Onions?
Garlic.
Oh. Nice.
See if I kind of get away from the sheet metal. What is it? It's about, I mean, it's almost, you really built this right on, well, what this says is north. So then, as I walk,
Well, that wire fence is probably going to affect it.
it's kind of getting drawn already.
Which way is it pulling?
To the left. It might be the roof. Yeah, let's see
All these
now,
good-
but no, I think it was the fence because now,
It's going back.
yeah, now it's fine. This is how sensitive we want, you know, careful we want to be. But once we get it right, it's drawn a little bit to the right now. But let's see.
So,
So this is drawing to the right when you're inside here. So I wouldn't, this isn't the right building for it.
okay.
I mean, it's too bad because it looks great. I mean, it's very protected. But I'm wondering if it's the roof or, oh, it could be all of this. I mean, if you, yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's drawn really high. So let me go further away.
So, I mean, it's not that big a deal to build except for the heat.
Yeah.
See, I mean, you deal with places all over the place. It can get over 100 here.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's very dry. It gets down into single digits for dryness. But it does get that hot. So that's something I'm thinking of, you know, being protected.
Mm-hmm.
The building we were in where the inverter was has a plywood ceiling. It's not exposed metal roof like this is. It is metal roof.
Yeah. Wondering if we. A little bit more, a little bit of a draw. Yeah.
I mean, there's other ones of these. This is just one it was easy. I can open.
Let's
one
see one with, if you have one without the fencing material.
Yeah. Okay, so there's electrical power that comes right there.
Oh, this is super clean in here. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Check those pipes.
See, and it's got a plywood ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if we came right close, but this, you come away from these maybe 6 inches, and it evens itself out.
It's easy enough to just put it in a big space and pull one of the sides out.
Yeah.
Or just move part of the stack and just stack it there.
Here, Terry, you go. What if we go? We're just going to move this side. Let's see, I think if we. What do you think, Joe?
Why shadows in here?
That's perfect. It looks really good here.
Why shadows in here?
Well, and that's
He must have horses. And he looks like he has a little small one for maybe a little pony and a little boy.
And a big one for boys.
And a big one for big boys. And
Oh,
big
yeah.
girls. All right.
you tell them they're going to go through this whole thing too. You're going to want a horse.
I know.
He,
I know.
he stopped at North 40 and they had saddles and they had
Oh, yeah.
lassos and everything. I mean, he was like, Dad, I
I need these.
I need a saddle for my horse. But you don't have a horse yet. But
I need to get one.
I'm gonna get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what to do when you don't have something.
Maybe.
You go get it. Or get somebody to get it for you, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's got the boots.
Well, okay, so
This is a good one.
this is clean in here. I like it.
Okay. No problem.
Do you want to go get some water, Roo?
There's a water faucet right close here. Not in the building. Right around the corner here.
Cold water.
Well, the water's coming out of the ground 200 feet deep.
Found ourselves a winner. So what we're going to do is we're going to now get a little box or a little stand for it to sit on, and we'll bring the conditioner down and set it up. So this is the Farm Guard. Originally it was called the XT, but it's the Geofield Farm Guard, which is an EMF conditioner. And there are screws, those are all stainless steel. So if you're ever putting any metal around, it needs to be stainless so there's no magnetic field. And this is a hard kind of a melamine board, but it actually is, we've improved it. It's harder, more firm than previous versions. So, but its impact, it helps in case it's to drop, it'll take the fall.
Impact.
Yeah. So this is the Farm Guard. These are mirror finished.
So these are directional.
Yeah, it's very,
It's creating this.
So each one of these is the Essential Pro Plus light tower. So these are individual plates, stacks of plates. They're all
A 4-inch.
They're all put together with a jig and precision. They're actually they're 90 millimeter, so around 3.5 inch square plates. But you can tell, look at that mirror finish. So incredible amount of photonic activity, light reflection off of there. The bugs love it. He's coming to check out, what is this? So now, without that, it had aluminum foil underneath, which is what we ship most of these with, but that turns it off. But now that that's off, this is actually powered up. It's now working. And we can see, even on this, we see a little blip. We'll see what the statistical modeling shows later, but there's even a little blip. Is that just kind of like, whoop, like what happened? So when it ships, it comes with like this paper towel in there, but when you're using it, you can leave the paper towel in, or you can take it off and just leave it like this. You can leave the cover on. This is a dust cover, and the photons reflect off the plate and go right through this material.
Yeah.
Right? So no problem keeping that on as a dust cover. You could also lay a sheet of glass over the top if you wanted to do a little bit more of a dust cover, because this is 9-inch by 9-inch.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to go with a 10-inch square glass sheet over the top.
That way you're not working with a wet cloth. This is Dust City.
Right, yeah, I know, yeah, it's going to get dusty.
We did this before, like it was a fad to make bread.
Okay.
So we were like, you need some of this.
Yeah. They're like, why? Wonder Bread.
And there was a lot of people in our community, and we have a barter fair that we've had for 45 years or something.
Yep.
And so people that come would, buy 4 or 6 sacks of flour or grain, but usually flour for the winter. So we sold a lot of that way, and placed the pizza places, bakeries, and that kind of thing. But commercially, we had one distributor that took it to the coast. But we just stayed small. We just did this valley. Yeah. We didn't hire help.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go into that whole bookkeeping of it. Yeah. No, we kept it simple. And we did different things. We had, like the eggs. We had Raina just topped off. I don't know if she said anything. 250 chickens. We were selling eggs to a couple of natural food stores and one restaurant.
Yeah.
And we just stopped doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're trying to find a life away from here, because a few years ago we found what the word vacation means. We went to Guatemala and Mexico. We went to
that's a problem.
Hawaii. We go up to Canada still. We have friends up there and go up to the hot springs.
It's good in your blood now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but you've earned it too. I mean,
well, that's a way to look at it.
But the hot springs are for your health. I mean, totally. Your joints and inflammation.
Absolutely.
Lithium.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
The one in the house was interesting because the town developed it basically hippie mud holes. Developed it, but it's just at the edge of town, but it's like 8 miles. You drive back into the forest. It's just total moss on the ground. It's just incredible. And so a good number of the town in winter time goes and listens to space music.
That's awesome.
It is. It's totally. I said I love it. Yeah. They know where it's at.
Okay, let's see. So,
I can either bring a super down, and we can set it on top.
Yeah.
On the floor.
That would work fine.
Yeah.
What about the symbols? Can they be in a different room? Or just move maybe to the back? Yeah, let's do that.
So metal is something we don't want close to it.
Right. Now, those weren't putting off a huge field, but it's still better to move them.
Is this going to be good enough?
Yep. Okay, you can just hold that. I can help you.
The other side of a major tripping accident. Yeah, there are.
I don't know, it might not be. See how they...
Oh, it does. Really?
I mean, you're about 2 inches or so away. Let's set it up and just go across the top. Nope.
Won't work?
Nope, that won't work. But what about these boards? Because we could stack up. It only went off. So that those nails put off about a 1.5 to 2 inch field, magnetic field. So we could use this as a base. We just need some wood or something that can lift it up. I like to go double the distance. So if it was 2 inches, let's go 4 inches to get it out of that field.
What about these? Do these have nails in them?
Well, that'll work. Yeah.
You have a whole stack here.
Yeah. Those are the things to make the granaries close them up. Yeah, that's probably good. What do you think?
Yeah, this will work out great. We can lift it up. Yeah, you've got enough to put a couple inches down. Let's do 2 more layers. It doesn't have to be. Now, what we we do have I have a dealer in Indiana. He's Amish, and he's been making these stands. He's the one who makes the scalar stands for the energy plates. He's just designed a stand for the conditioners. There's no scalar technology in it. It's just a wood box, but it's up about, I think it's total about 20 to 22 inches tall. Hickory, all stained and finished, but it has a nice shelf that this can go into.
Oh,
so when the time, that'll make this process easier, won't it?
Yeah, especially when you're moving it inside and.
Yeah. So then, let's see.
the nails are, you're going to find the nails at the outside.
It's pretty clean.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, now that I know what's happening, I can make it so a little more.
Okay, so come here. So now I want to show you how we set it up. So we know generally this is going to be north-south. So when I say we want to square this with north or align it with north, what I'm saying is I'm taking the compass, the needle on the compass. You can zoom in, and what I do is I go right up against this edge, so I make it nice and straight. And then we're going to rotate it to where that compass is. So you want to make it really good, nice. Yep. We're going to rotate it just a hair, just like that. So now you can see that nice and north. You just ignore this small needle that's for some other function. But we want it just to be square with north-south. So that's what I mean by north-south. You saw the needle move because the phone got so close. The magnetic field from the phone influenced that needle, but this looks really good. Sometimes you can also come in on the back side like this if you wanted to.
Wow.
And that looks really good.
Boy, that was almost...
But you go down, you start to interfere with these nails.
Right.
What did you see?
Oh, just the orientation of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw what yeah.
Did you? Yeah. So then I like to take the pendulum out and we'll just test to make sure it's going to be powered up and doesn't have any influence. Now, the more spherical it is, the better the placement. If I put the compass over there, you'll see that changes the shape of that spin. It's more oval. I mean, it's just different. So that means that compass, that even that far away, is interfering with it.
That's amazing.
Of course, if we put it right on top,
Dies. Shuts it down.
Shuts it down.
Yeah.
So now,
God, I wouldn't think that much. Wow. Of course, magnets, powerful magnets, come in small packages.
mm-hmm. So I'm trying to pay very close attention to the shape of this.
Whether it's round or oval.
Right. Okay, that looks good. So what time is it right now? So now it's 3:04 in the afternoon. We've set this up. I'm just noting that time because now I can look at the bio well, and we're gonna see before and after. We'll let it run for a few minutes and look at the data.
So do you offer up printouts of that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've got a report for you.
Wow.
Okay, and I want to show everybody the sign that you get to have now that it's okay. Okay, so this compass goes with the farm guard, so you're going to keep that, and then we don't want to store it anywhere near the farm guard. As you saw in the video, even 6 inches away, it's having an influence. So just, other side of the room, in a drawer somewhere, keep it out of the way and just not on the farm guard. All right, so now we're going to look at the before and after with the BioWell. Again, this is measuring the environment, the quality of the light in and around us here. We've been running for 2 hours and 40 minutes. So what we do is we're going to stop this now.
It's kind of reflecting.
Yeah, that's okay. So as we wait now, it's going to take a little bit to process this. These graphs to me don't make a whole lot of sense. It's when we go and we do the modeling. Yeah.
Side by side or whatever.
So we just have to wait for it to crunch.
This isn't a quantum computer, is it?
No. No. I don't buy into all that yet. Too many of them don't know that they don't know enough. You know?
Right.
There's a lack of, there's a lot more ego than humility when it comes to a quantum scientist or engineer.
Yeah.
So it does take a little bit of time sometimes to process.
It's very interesting. I've always found that, you go into a place and they'll say, my computer is just running slow today. And I'm going, what was it like before the computer?
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's running fast.
Yeah.
It's all relative.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we just completed this. You can see. So this is the raw data. See how, just in nature, naturally fluctuates.
It's calming down.
Yeah. So then, but what we will do is we will look at analysis. So that's the whole thing. So what we want to see is we want entropy to get to be 0. We want energy, intensity, and area to increase. So you can see there, like, if the average, right? I mean, this one got to be up to 86, whereas down here we're at 84. Went up to a little bit over 84, but that's, got pretty, that did increase.
So that, you're going in this area because this is where this flattened out?
Yeah, so this is the red line was about 10 or so minutes before we set up the power conditioner. And this energy probably bumped a little bit because I came next to the device, so it sees that. But if you look at the entropy, it took us a little while to set it up, but eventually you can look at, like, there was a lot less entropy towards the, after.
How much time elapsed?
Well, that's 1 hour, 24 minutes. And this is 2 hours, 15. So that's about an hour. Right here is about an hour. And I mean, the entropy is very, very little over here compared to where it was at the beginning. Energy also increased on average. You had more. So that's the analysis.
And so what's the middle? What's this one?
That's intensity. If I understand intensity correctly, that's the strength of the light. So what they say is it amplifies the quality and the quantity of light. So these are related to quality, and these three are related to the quality, and this is related to the quantity. So are we getting more or less light?
Well, that's almost, this one here is just a very subtle increase.
Right. But if you look at, I mean, the amount of time was just another hour, a little over an hour, about an hour and 15 minutes.
In a norm, yeah.
To see a slight increase is I think it's a good sign. So this is okay, so then we do this. We add labels. Every 5 minutes, we'll say close, and then we can calculate. And now it's doing the statistical calculation based on every 5 minutes what it saw.
Wow, this is a wild program.
Let's do it real time. Oh, there's so much more I need to learn on it, but
Really?
to really I feel like to really understand what I'm looking at, I can see it, but I feel like that's like 101 level.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to know what I'm looking at. So
The depth of the meaning.
yeah. For me, I mean, I bought it primarily to help visualize or show something's happening.
Yeah.
Something changed. I could take a glass of wine too, and you can take a sip, do a blind taste test before and after, and you'll see a change. And 9 out of 10 times, it actually, people are like, oh, that's better. But 1 out of 10 times, like, oh, that made it worse.
Well, to really do it, you would almost have to take several bottles of the same wine and condition 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But do a blind test.
Right. Well,
Because
I don't mind
if yes.
I know. Yes. we dealt with double blind as well, but I don't mind it when people say, "Oh, it made it worse," because all we're demonstrating is there was a change. We don't. And wine is subjective; it's taste.
Oh, totally.
Right.
Yes.
Actually, that varietal of Merlot
Actually tastes worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Or this made it more buttery and opened it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
yeah, it's totally subjective.
all right. So let's see what we see here. So intensity did get more consistent and did have like that gradual increase. So that's just going to continue to increase over time. This last bar is more probably related to us, our energy coming around the device and it picking that up. So that's the intensity. So that's already a positive, right, by itself. This is energy. What do I see? I mean, as far as like at an average, before we've set it up about right here. So there's more energy in the field.
Yeah,
after
it's
we
more
set it up.
sustained.
Yeah.
Here the fluctuation happens, and this is starting to the fluctuation is getting less.
Yeah.
It's starting to normalize. I would use that word.
Yeah. Okay. Harmonize even. And then this is the standard. This is the area deviation. Well, that's
that's all over the place.
it's way over. So, what is standard deviation? Is like the chaos, right? Or how much variation there is. If you want less standard deviation, you want it to be. I think I'm saying this right. I'm sure, but I think that you want, from a standard deviation, you want less of a change, because the more it is, it means the more chaotic it is, the more out of the average. Whereas when you get down to this, now it's all more coherent, it's more balanced.
Coherent is a good word. Chaos, for years we were in a weather environment that was pretty stable. We didn't have this. Chaos is actually normal.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Right. In nature, sure.
Yes. So it's really hard to apply the right word to what you're seeing. Coherent is, I like, coherent, because I don't know if you've ever heard of the HeartMath Institute and the work they're doing.
HeartMath, yes.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Yeah, we've had that done.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's a word heart coherence.
So here's entropy. The top is -2, so basically zero entropy on top, where you want zero entropy. And you can see the first part, the baseline before it was set up. was all over the place, then again, more coherent, less entropy.
Wow. Yeah, that one's pretty graphic. Yeah, you can definitely see.
I'm going to save this as a PDF. And I think if we, there may be another report we can get to. Okay, ready? Okay. All right. So this is what we're using this device to help visualize what our plates do. When we say we are amplifying the quality and the quantity of the light, this is what we're showing. We're showing that the entropy is reducing. We're showing that the energy and the intensity of the photons is increasing, and the balance, the things are becoming more balanced, more coherent. The BioWell device is helping us show that, and we did this. Ben, we've met just today. We did a baseline for about an hour and 25 minutes. We found a spot for the conditioner. We set it up. We came back about an hour and maybe hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes later. And we've just been analyzing. We've just been looking at the data that this machine showed. And we wanted to film this and document it so that we can help share it with you. And hopefully you found this interesting. And if you did, I'd love for you to share this with others. If you have any questions or comments about what you saw, please leave them in the comments or reach out to us. EssentialEnergy.us is our website. And we are just excited about being able to improve the quality of the atmosphere and the environment energetically. This is about bioenergetics. This is about balance. And when things are in balance, that's when life will thrive. We talked about this earlier. The non-native EMF, the dirty electricity, the stray voltage, it suppresses life. It's like a suppressive blanket.
Stresses.
It's a stressor. And things don't grow well. Where the photosynthetic capacity in plants is lessened. The sap flow in trees is lowered. Just the list goes on. And then in our health, we have heart disease, diabetes, immune dysfunction, mitochondrial dysfunction, sleep disruption, headaches, brain fog, digestive issues. Well, all the animals have the same things, right? Livestock will run into the same thing. Horses will run into the same things.
They're just not whiners like we are.
Yeah, exactly. But if we could become energy-focused stewards, we can realize we can do something about it. Mm-hmm. We can improve the quality of the environment around us, which improves the quality of the ecosystem and all of life. So Ben is now an EMF safe certified farm. His property is now protected. We've shown that. We've demonstrated it. And if you want to learn more about that, you need to reach out to us. And we thank you for taking the time to watch. Hey, okay, we just set up the Farm Guard EMF conditioner on his property, and he is now a EMF safe farm certified. We showed with real data by the BioWell device that we have improved the quality and the quantity of the energy, which means we've mitigated the EMF. So you come onto his property.
Yeah, if you're hammered by stress.
I mean, this is where you want to come now. So congratulations, you're an EMF safe farm.
Thank you so much.